Hello, everyone. Welcome to the SG podcast. This is Adam from Show-Dex, founder and owner of the business. Here to have a chat with Sam today, and I hope you enjoy.
Welcome, Adam. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for spending some time with us and for us to be able to dig into a bit more deeper about the brand itself and the person behind it. So thank you for joining us.
No, happy to be here, Sam. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. For me, we spoke probably a little while ago now, a few months back, when you first launched one of the first products that you've got, the binder. And for me, it was something that came at a perfect time. I collect cards, as you guys know, but I was looking for something that was more robust, that I could be proud to keep my best cards in, like my favorite cards in. And as soon as I saw what you guys were doing, I was like, right, I'm sold. But can you tell the people that are listening or watching what the brand is, who you are, and kind of a bit about where the brand sort of started, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. So Show-Dex was a brand that was kind of, born out of a love for collecting initially. So when I started this probably around 18 months ago, I kind of entered back into Pokemon just as a collector primarily. As an individual, I've kind of collected things on and off pretty much my entire life, and then I kind of had loads of cards from when I was younger, loads of incomplete sets, shoe boxes full, some in sleeves, some in old vintage folders, and so forth. And then I kind of set on the mission, okay, let's try and complete them, just as kind of reigniting that interest as so many of us did kind of during lockdown and that period. As I was kind of going through that process just as a collector, I kind of thought, okay, well, I've always been in business. I've had a business before this one. I've done business at university, and it's always been kind of a dream to combine a business with something that I actually enjoy and something that I'm passionate about as well. So doing something within trading cards and Pokemon just seemed like a really good fit. So kind of going through that journey, and then as I was actually looking for accessories myself to do what you just said, Sam, to store cards in, there wasn't really anything that kind of jumped out to me as of the highest quality, or probably more so not a brand that had the identity that I'm trying to create and the community that I'm trying to create as part of my brand. So I thought, why not give it a go? So I created Show-Dex, starting off initially just as an Instagram page, started getting samples in for our first product, and then finally kind of landed on one that we were happy with, which is of course the one that you saw and so many other people since then. And when we were kind of creating that, we wanted to create something a little bit different. It's no news to anyone. There's hundreds of different binders out there, but we wanted to create one that offered a different experience from a product point of view. So it's a very much a different touch and feel, different packaging, different unboxing experience compared to others on the market, and also try and create a brand that was embedded, ingrained, and really integrated within the community. And that was kind of something we already started doing as part of the Instagram page. We speak to a lot of people in the community daily. We trade with a lot of individuals. We're constantly engaging, doing giveaways and things like that as well. And that's been something that's been really important to us as a startup, but also kind of maintaining that as we do start to scale, as well as not losing our personality and not losing our closeness to the customer, which is something that's been really important to us. So we created the first product, launched that I think back end of last year, so around November time, which was challenging, to be quite honest. As with any kind of business starting out, we hadn't really established our brand perhaps as much as we should have done before launching that product. But that being said, we got out there, went relatively well. But yeah, we've definitely seen a much bigger pickup in 2022 compared to 2021, which I put down to just being consistent and trying to deliver the same message and the same values that we kind of set out with at the beginning. So yeah, Show-Dex is a brand. It's obviously an accessory, but we try to be more than an accessory brand through those engagements, through being active in the community, and through offering high quality products, which we think we have, and we hope our customers feel the same as well. So they're kind of the core values of really been ingrained in the community and really pushing that to kind of have our brand by association with everyone. We want to be the go-to kind of accessory place for all collectors, not just specific to Pokemon, but across the board. And the ultimate objective for myself as a founder of a business is to be the biggest accessory brand in the world, and that's kind of the mission that I'm on at the moment. So yeah,
I'm loving
working
that.
on it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And to see, as you say, it's in long term, it's a very early stages, and to have a product as high quality as that from the outset, it shows your ambition, shows where you want to go with it. And if you've already brought something out that's the best on the market from day one, where's this going to go? Like, that is exciting, man. That is cool.
No, I appreciate that, Sam. And look, it's I think some people may get into business to try and do something quite quickly, or they may want to do something over 12 months or 2 years and then get out. But I've made a commitment to myself and people who are close to me as well. The Pokemon cards or the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, they're not going anywhere. I'm going to be on this journey for as long as it takes me to get kind of where I want to be and where I want the business to be as well. So yeah, very much a long-term, lifetime project business. Yeah, ambition for me. So
yeah, that's
working harder every day.
Yeah, good job. And it was cool as well, because like for me, we went to the London Card Show. You were a vendor there as well.
Yeah.
So for me, it was great to see you guys, obviously to meet you in person. I know we'd spoken a lot before, but actually to meet in person. But and to see you guys interacting with everybody as well on the stand. Like how valuable was that to actually meet people in person, even get to see what people think on the first look?
Yeah.
Like, how was that?
So it's incredible. Like we've done a few of the shows now, and they get better and better every time. We've done London back in, I think it was can't remember, May, April time or so, and then we've done Northwest Card Show in July, and then also the other London one. And it's great to firstly meet so many people who we've already spoken to, like yourself, and then also just people within the community who may have liked a photo or took part in a giveaway or anything like that, and they kind of come over and say, oh, we're so and so. It's like, oh yeah, like we've spoke before. So putting a face to name is huge. It's really important for us, and something that we enjoy massively. And what's great for us at the show is because we are collectors. Like I've got a collection of X amount of master sets and thousands upon thousands of cards that we take along to the show. And we're not just there to sell binders, although that's part of what we're doing, and naturally that's the main objective. We're also selling and trading cards with people in the community as well. So people helping me complete my set, me helping people complete their sets, and some people just buying cards and things like that. And I think having that kind of engagement is something that's really important to us, as a brand and myself as an individual. It's strange to feel that you get to know someone a lot more when you're trading cards with them, or you're discussing the requirements and things like that as well. And it gives a lot more kind of personality behind our brand, which is really important. And that's something that's important for myself. And I think just doing that through Instagram, it can be quite difficult to communicate. I'm not someone who is constant on live streams for one reason or another, but I think actually being able to get there and speak to people in person, it allows the show, put a face behind the brand, communicate a bit more what we're about what we're trying to achieve, and then also just have a good time along the way, which is what happens at those card shows. So yeah, they've been really positive for us. Really enjoyed them. We've got one more planned in August, which is the Glasgow Card Show, cool. which we're actually sponsoring. Wow. So looking forward to that one, and then any others that come up, we will be sure to be in attendance for sure. Yeah,
that's awesome. And I think as well, as you say, like it's getting into the community, but also as when you physically trading with someone, you make that bond, don't you? You're just like, you collect the same, and it's just that bond of, oh, you collect that, oh, I don't like Charizard, and I like Blastoise. It's just the whole thing of just that interaction as well, isn't it? Just getting in front of people, and as a brand doing that, you don't see many brands doing that, and I think that's really cool, and I think that is something that's again going to push you out in front of more people, because it shows your commitment to the hobby, not just the business, which is fine as well, but it also shows how deep your feelings are for the hobby. It's great.
Yeah, like absolutely. I mean, as a brand, if we were just stood there trying to push binders, I don't think that we'd get as much interaction or engagement as perhaps if we were selling cards. And it's always quite good or interesting is that when people come over to the stand and they realize that the owner of an accessory brand is just as knowledgeable as them, as all the set for the past 20 years and so forth, and they're asking, have you got cards specific to this set? Almost expect me to be like, we just sell binders, when in reality, like I've been a collector myself for many years, which is why, you know, as I said at the very beginning, it was kind of a natural fit. Taking, you know, my business and my acumen and my ambition in business and having it with something that I enjoy and I'm passionate about and something I enjoy doing every single day, putting them together and sharing that with other people. It's been a good fit. But yeah, the trade shows are really good.
Yeah, cool. And for yourself, like you said, you touched on there that you've got lots of different sets and things. What is it that you collect? What is your main? Do you have any collection goals at the minute, or are you master set? Where are you with your own personal collection?
Wizards of the Coast master sets are basically the ambition to complete all of them. I'm some way away from that, but I've got kind of base set through the Gym Heroes, the Jungle, Team Rocket, Fossil. So I've got those completed. Neo Genesis, and now I'm just onto Neo Destiny at the moment, which is proving quite a challenge. But yeah, we chose that one next. We absolutely love some of the cards, some of the artworks within that set, and I don't think it's not as common as perhaps, you know, some of the earlier sets. But what that means is that it's a hell of a lot more expensive than most of them as well, or more difficult to find the cards for Neo Destiny. I was, you know, running around London Card Show after kind of it was tailing off at the end of the day, trying to find cards, and you're like, no, and just no one had any available. So yeah, if anyone watching has any Neo Destiny cards, be sure to drop us a message with some way away, yeah, for sure.
That's cool. Okay. And so for yourself, is it mainly okay? So that's the main focus. Do you collect other languages as well, or is it mainly English? I know that's obviously English, but
it's mainly English. I mean, we've done Gym Heroes in Japanese, so that was kind of the one set, and that was because I had plenty of cards from my childhood, and it was quite a you know, a straightforward one for us to complete. Would we be open to doing Japanese sets in the future? Probably. As I said, this is going to be going on for many years for us, so let's get the English one done and then perhaps. But yeah, I know you mentioned about like other things I collect as an individual. It's mainly been Pokemon cards for myself, but before I started Show-Dex, I've had another business where we kind of buy and sell collectibles and buy and sell different types of games and things like that, just through an e-commerce store that me and my brother still manage. So kind of through that, I've developed a collection of weird and wonderful things in, you know, the realms of Disney and the realms of Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and all things like that as well. So yeah, I've got a loft full of kind of sealed new collectibles from different franchises, ones you couldn't even imagine. But that's kind of my retirement fund. If this doesn't go to plan, I'll sell all these collectibles off. So yeah,
that's cool. And for yourself, looking back at the business side of things, are there any pitfalls or anything that you've found like a big stumbling block or anything like that? Anything that you can share that you found that was particularly more difficult than you'd expected, or anything like that?
I think kind of the initial days of trying to get exposure was something that we found quite difficult. It was kind of getting people to, you know, put the trust in us as a brand, which, you know, we're all human at the end of the day. If a new brand comes about, it's very difficult getting that first customer, or getting the first few customers and getting them to put their faith in yourself. The kind of initial exposure was something that I struggled with a little bit. Now, we had an existing community that we'd engage through Instagram and so forth as well. But we found it quite hard to take that relationship from a, you know, liking and sharing to okay, well, let's actually transition to the sale of good. And probably one of the reasons that fell down a little bit is that when we initially launched, like, we hadn't, you know, spoke to, you know, yourself, for example, somebody who supported the brand as an ambassador, and said, okay, well, this is a really kind of wanted to, okay, well, let's try and do everything on ourselves. And we didn't have many kind of accounts of people enjoying the product or people saying, giving us positive feedback. So the first month or two were probably the most difficult. So there's a few things I'd change around that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what we knew we had a good product. You know, quite confident in saying that we had a good product, and it's just, okay, well, how do we now get this into people's hands? Which, again, back in the exhibitions, that's helped massively with people actually being able to come and see the product as opposed to an image online. So that was a challenge initially, but we've definitely got better of that. You know, through working with people like yourselves, who's given us a lot of a lot of support and exposure behind our brand, which is, you know, massively appreciated, Sam. And then also just, you know, through generally being consistent as a business, being consistent as a brand, not, you know, not having a quiet few days or a quiet month and then thinking, okay, well, let's scrap it. It's not working. It is very much a long-term thing. And, you know, through being consistent for this year and, you know, trying new things and not trying to be a perfectionist with everything, because, you know, I'm not going to get everything right. I'm not going to get every launch, every post right. But providing we're consistent and we stay on with kind of what the message is and continue to have high quality products, then, you know, I think people are going to enjoy it. Other challenges, I think at the very beginning, back on, I guess, that perfectionist thing, is I probably had maybe 7 or 8 samples before we landed on the binder that we have today. So that was the challenge initially, working with a supplier who, you know, kind of understood what the requirements were. We jumped around 4 or 5 different places before we landed on it, and that's one thing like a positive thing I'd definitely take away from it, is because we could have launched, say, 6 months earlier, for example. Wow. But we would have done that with a substandard product, and we perhaps wouldn't have got the same level of, you know, response or progress that we received on this one. So yeah, we could have launched quicker, but would we have had the lasting effect and the product that we were happy with? No. So in that regard, we were glad we waited kind of 6-12 months before I did actually launch the product, and I think that's starting to pay itself back in dividends at the moment as well. So yeah.
And I think as well, like as we said as well, like having a company that comes out the gates, like we see it as this is just launched now. It's all that work you've done before, and get it launching with such the exact product that you guys have got is people don't give you a second chance. Like if you've got, like you said, if you've got a substandard product, it's going to be very difficult to show them the next one. Like it's gonna, those people are already shut off, and you've already not burnt it. You can build it obviously, but it's going to be harder. So yeah, doing that the long term and the patient way to get it right is definitely well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely, Sam. And like that's helped us massively, kind of, you know, twofold. Is that one of the, I guess, the proudest things for myself is that is the customer retention that we have is huge. So when we actually, you know, get a new customer and finally get them there to take the chances and perhaps move from the binder they've always bought, we always find that, you know, a lot of our customers do come back for a second and a third and a fourth, and, you know, we're starting to recognize the names and the addresses, and like every time one comes through that's bought one before, it just it makes us so happy. And as you said, we're only able to do that because we've, you know, provided a positive experience as a brand and through customer service, but, you know, mainly through giving them a product that they're happy with. So yeah, really happy we've been able to do that, and it's, you know, it's going to help us again with future launches. You know, got to plug our upcoming launch, Sam, which is the top loader binder, which is coming out tomorrow as well. And what we saw again is a lot of, you know, new customers who are trying this for the first time, but a lot of existing customers who are happy because of their previous experience and been happy with that product, to think, okay, well, this one's going to be a good product as well, which is one we're super excited about. And, you know, at this stage, we're far more established launching this product compared to where we was when we launched the original one. So yeah, we're even much better position to make success of this. So yeah, really excited for it.
And me too. And with the launch of the new top loader binder, can you just briefly mention what binders are available in the series that you've currently got, just so that people listening sort of know what you guys have got about?
Yeah, that's fine. So by the time you're watching this, we will have 2 available. So the first one is the one myself and Sam have been discussing, which is our 9-pocket standard Show-Dex binder. Holds 360 cards, style loading pockets. That's the one we launched, I said, just under 12 months ago, which is available now. And then launching tomorrow is our top loader binder, which is the Show-Dex Pro, which is a slightly smaller binder holding 216 cards, but obviously holds top loader, so it is quite a big binder, a bit of a beast when you get hold of it. But yeah, they're the 2 that are available as of today. And then we've got 4 or 5 others in the pipeline, probably kind of 4 to 5 months away before we get them out. But yeah, we want to look at potentially 12 pockets. I'm quite keen to do a a smaller one, which we'd kind of, marked as a trade binder almost. So when you go into the exhibitions, you'd have a smaller binder to carry cards to trade with and things like that as well. And then a few other products in the pipeline as well. So yeah, an exciting future ahead, I'd say.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and thank you for sharing that as well. So we're coming towards the end, and I've been given a question from the previous person.
Okay.
They didn't know it was you that was coming up next, so let's go with their question. So their question was, are there any incentives, or what do you believe is a good way to get trading cards into the hands of either underprivileged children or just into the face of kids?
Okay. Good question. I think like one of the initiatives, I mean, I don't know if there's probably two things, thinking maybe, the online angle and then potentially a kind of a localized angle. Sharing something online, I guess broadcasting that is an ongoing project. So perhaps position as, okay, look, we're looking to collect cards for underprivileged children. Can you please, send to X, whatever you have available, whether that's, bulk cards, whether that's some shinies. And I think through being in this community for the past 12 months, I think the response you get off something like that would be quite significant. I think, ourselves as a brand, if someone reached out for that and said, can you send us some cards, then, absolutely we could, send 100, 200, 300 cards to support initiatives like that. So I think really leaning on the community to almost get a pool of cards together from different places and different brands and different people, and then ultimately distributing them, whether that would be to schools who can allocate them, different charities who can allocate them, different homes for children that may be able to give them out as well. So yeah, I think pulling together as much resource and as much engagement from the community to get a collection together, and then leaning on the people within the community in kind of society who have connections to those charities, connections to those institutes, whatever you want to call them, and then sending out to different locations would be, I guess, one idea. But that's quite a difficult question to answer off the cuff, but yeah, maybe something like that.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, that's good. That's a great answer. Really, really good. And I think that would be another great way. And I mean, even like Facebook groups and things as well would be, the best way just to get that out, isn't it? So, and as a community, everybody shares it. That's a great idea. Okay. Can you share your website, socials, everything you've got so people can find you, please?
Yeah, that's fine. So the website is www.showdex.com. So show-dex.com. We're shipping pretty much globally now as well. So wherever you are in the world, we do ship to. If it's not on the website, please, drop us a DM and we can add that option. On socials, everything is Show-Dex3511. So that is for Instagram and TikTok. We're probably the most active on Instagram. So that's probably the best way to communicate with us, or if you have any questions or generally want to follow the account or reach out. Instagram is where we are the most active, and we are actively working on getting better on all of the socials as well. So yeah, watch this space.
Great, man. That's really, really good. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much, Adam. I've really appreciated you taking the time out today to speak to us and to share everything you have with us. No,
thank you, Sam. It's been a pleasure. Really appreciate kind of the opportunity to come and speak to yourself, but also to share a bit more about myself and a bit more about the brand. It's something I probably don't do enough, which I need to improve on. So thank you very much for giving myself the platform and the opportunity. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You too, man.